Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, a show where I interview guests that teach, motivate, and inspire. Today, we're going to talk about how to get government grant assistance, as I am joined by government program expert and author, Matthew Lesko. Matthew has devoted 49 years of his life to helping people. He has the Lesko Help Group. His book has been very successful, and he has created a successful infomercial, been on programs like Letterman, Oprah, Larry King, and Good Morning America. So we're going to be talking to him about how Americans can get grant assistance from the government. So Matthew, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, pleasure to be here. It's I've been doing this like 50 years, and every time just having an opportunity to try to educate people about what's available in our country and they don't know. And I'm going to do this till I die. I'm 81 now, but I may have another 10 years or more in me to do this. And it's an opportunity that you give me to help try to educate people about these benefits.
Absolutely. Well, why don't you start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
Well, I say 81 years old. I never thought I'd live this long, but more important than not live this long, just have so much fun at 81. Man, if I knew 81 was going to be so good, I would have got here earlier. I'm at the time of my life. Things are working better. And I think the thing is, there's a lot of stuff you don't have to worry about. At least I'm fortunate enough that way. I don't worry about paying my rent anymore. And that was, self-sufficiency was very important. And you spend most of your life doing that. And that's why I love having something I could do forever. I never worry about self-sufficiency. So instead of retiring at 60, man, I'm still making money. But doing something I love, it's not work. This isn't work. This is a joy, and it helps people. So that means it's something bigger than me that I could do, and gives me energy to keep trying to grow. And I got an MBA and had a bunch of business that failed. I had a computer business back in the 70s. You said you're in cybersecurity too. And I was a programmer and all that kind of stuff. And I was a professor in computer science at a local university here, and had a software company that failed. But then I went on to trying to help people get information, particularly businesses. And what I was doing is helping mostly Fortune 500 companies get information about their markets and what's going on outside their company, information on opportunities. And because I was in Washington, and this was back in the 70s, I'd do research at libraries, because that's what you did. We didn't have the internet then. But Washington has libraries, special libraries for it. Every department and agency has a special library. So if you want something in energy, you go over to the Department of Energy, and their library has the best, resources for energy you want. Anything in agriculture, you go to the Department of Agriculture, or overseas, you go over to the State Department. So it was just a bountiful of information and experts. I found an expert in Washington. One of my clients was Procter & Gamble, wanted to start a chain of pasta stores. And I found this guy at the Department of Commerce who gets paid like $100,000 a year just to study the pasta store business. That's all he does. And you find this person, nobody knows he's there. And you make an appointment, talk to him. And the problem when you find somebody like that is not getting the information, is getting out of his office. He's been studying pasta for 20 years. No one's ever asked him. His wife was sick of hearing about it. So I would take this information and all the studies that the government does on pasta businesses and everything, and I'd take his name off it, put my name on it, because nothing in the government is copyrighted. And I'd charge these people thousands and thousands of dollars. It was shocking that I could do this. I mean, a kid from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, who barely got through college, could do this and make money. And I said, God, why doesn't everybody know about this? So that business grew for a couple of years, I guess about 5 years I was at that. And I just got sick of helping rich people. They don't even need the money, And there's so many people, like where I grew up in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, that really need to know about these programs. And they can afford to hire somebody like me to get it for them. So my mission at that point became, okay, how do I get something that educates people about these programs so they could take advantage of it? And at the time, it was books. So I did a lot of books, and a couple became New York Times bestsellers and did very well in the infomercial. But again, wasn't helping people as people would get the book and it'd be like a big directory, and they wouldn't do anything. It's sort of like we sell diet books in this country. We all keep getting fatter. And it's the same with this guy. Okay, here's a directory of all this stuff, and I try to organize that in a way, and people don't do anything. But now at Lesko Help, what we do is have members helping members. So we have a community now that you join, and it's only $20, and you could ask us 100 questions a day if you want. We have we have live training every day, usually 2, 3, 4 hours sometimes, mostly members who teach you how they got money. And that's why I feel they're better than I am in trying to teach people, because, people look at me, oh, the way you dress and whatever, and you've been at this 50 years, it's easy for you. But when you have somebody, hey, I just found out about this just a couple of weeks ago, and I'm getting this money, and here's how I did it. I feel they're a better ambassador, for this than I could ever be. And they love helping people. And that's the key to what we're doing, is just, I call it a loving community. And if you love other people, then you want to help other people, not to see how much money you could get from the people that are members. They get a stipend for doing that, but it's not for the money. It's for how good you feel, because that's how I keep doing this. It's not for the money. I've figured out how to feed myself. I want something I feel important to do for the rest of my life. And this is it, because I know more about this, I think, than anybody else. And to struggle to try to educate people the best way for them to access this. And it's really, it's there. It's always been there. Rich people will hire somebody to get it for them. And the average person on the street will try and then give up. So that's what I'm trying to do, is overcome that hurdle, train people that you can't do that. And really the barrier, I think, is what the worst barrier is Google. Because most people, they want money or a grant or something like that. They'll go to Google and they'll put in a rent grant or whatever, and you'll get 200 million websites. Yeah. And 99, 44, 100% of those websites are people who want to get money from you because they know the secret to getting grants. And people who can't pay their rent can't pay somebody else to get grants either. And so that's the wrong place to go, and you're never going to find it. So you go through that, and there's so many sharks in that water too in Google that they're going to rip you off and all this kind of stuff. So if you don't have money, you really stay away from Google. Google is good for people who have money and could buy things. If you can't buy things and you have problems, you can't use Google. I mean, that's a biased opinion, but I think it's really true. There are options. So let's say you have a grant, you need to pay rent. Okay, you're in Wichita, Kansas. Is that right?
That is correct.
What's your zip code, Curtis?
67203.
67203. Okay, if you had a problem with rent, here's what you do. You don't go to Google. You go to findhelp.org. The key is the people who give money are .org or .gov. The people who want your money are .coms. So you stay away from .coms unless you have money, and you only go to .org or .gov if you don't. So I'm putting my website now is findhelp.org. Ask for my zip code. I'm going to put in yours, 67203. 203. Okay. Now, okay, it says there's 2,264 programs in my zip code that give out free money. 2,264. Every one of them, none of them will charge you money. See, this is what people don't know. God, okay. So that's why I should not even be in business if people knew this. See, okay, now you put a key word in there. Okay, you put in rent. I put in rent there. Okay, 61 organizations in your zip code that help with paying your rent. 61. See, and if you did that in Google, you'll get 200 million websites. Most of everyone, you'll never find these 61. They're in there, but they're on page 832 or whatever the hell it is, and you never find them. Here, it's like going fishing, shooting fish in a barrel. Every one of these help people with rent. Now, they may or may not be able to help you because they all have different requirements and things like that. But at least now you have a short list. It's sort of like, getting a job. You want to know you want to contact the people who are hiring, not just every company on the street, right? So if you know the people who are hiring, you know you have a better shot. Now, whether they're going to hire you, it depends, all right, between you and them. So the same way with getting a grant. Here's 61 people that give out rent grants and help for your rent, and you need rent, and you have to make a match with one of them. And that's what you have to learn to do. And you don't have to learn anything. You just have to call the people. Hey, I need help. That's the only words you have to know how to say. I need help. Because every one of these offices that already get money, they're not going to get money from you. So they're not going to kiss your ass to try to get money. No, they're there to help you because they're paid to do that. How much they help you depends on how you treat them. And that's what we're all about, is how to use these resources, how to get into them and use them. Otherwise, if you're thinking about, oh, this is how it should work, you can't think. Yeah, you can't believe. I mean, it's not. First of all, it's not going to work the way you want it. Because the government's not set up. They didn't call you first before they set this up. They're doing the best they can. These programs are laid on top of each other, on top of each other, on top of each other. So you have to figure out how to use them, because they have to follow the laws. See, the laws give them the money to give out to you. And if they don't do it by the laws, then they go to jail. So they have to follow the laws. You can't call up and say, this is a stupid thing you're doing. That's okay. They're not going to change. You got to learn the stupid way they're doing it so you get the money. If you don't need the money, good. Okay, don't worry about it. You could go somewhere else.
Well, let's talk about IRS debt, because you say that you know how to help people cut their IRS debt significantly as well.
Yeah. Okay, if you have IRS debt, first of all, most government programs that you owe money to are flexible, no matter what it is. IRS has a special program. It's called Offer in Compromise. Okay, if you go to irs.gov and put Offer in Compromise, and you'll see this program. Now we have a member who helps people with this because she saved $40,000 of taxes. I think she owed 50, and they cut it down to like $45,000. Cut it down to $5,000. So she got 90% of it forgiven. And you call up the organizations there that are listed. They're local, people that will help you. I mean, people fear the IRS, and they'll go to Google and find an accountant or something to do this for them. And they're going to take a lot of that money that could go into your pocket. So that's silly to me. You call up, you make an appointment. They have people all over the country to sit down with you. They want you to square that away. And your state department, your state taxes are the same way. It's Offer in Compromise. And then property taxes are the same way. But they have other kind of programs. Also, if you have trouble, you have to call and say you need help. Otherwise, they'll just keep banging on you, and you could stop that easily. And they all have programs of some kind that will help you. And the most important thing is that you get that fear off your mind, because that's what keeps you up at late at night. That's what shortens your life, I think, if you worry about that. All you have to do is make one phone call. Make an appointment and you'll see it's not, I mean, it's not like fairy dust and everything goes away. No, but a reasonable option will come out. And it's an option that nobody else, I mean, anybody else who says they're going to solve it for you is doing the same thing, just charging you a lot of money for it. So it's crazy. But because we don't know, and these are tools, this is our government. We all own this. We're all like investors in the government. They own us. And if something screws up with the IRS or your mortgage or any of those kinds of things, and the government's not working for you, you call your elected official. They want to help you. And they even come out every month. How many people did I solve getting grants for them? Every elected official is different, but that's it. Because if they help you get $10,000 or save this or whatever, you're going to vote for them for the rest of your life. And they know that, and that's how they stay in power. That's why people who are in Congress never lose. They retire.
Let's talk about the Urban Homestead Act and how you talk about how you can help people get $1 homes through it.
Right. That's that, and that's one of my favorite stories, because Urban Homestead Act has been around in the government since the 60s. And I remember reading about it, back, 20, 30, 40 years ago, whatever, and reading that. And I said, hey, that's not the Urban Homestead Act. That houses for $1. And HUD has a collection of that. So you go to HUD.gov, HUD.gov, and then put /counseling. And you make an appointment with a HUD counselor and ask them about the programs in your area. See, what happens is the government guarantees mortgages. So when you get a mortgage from your bank, the bank doesn't collect the money. It's guaranteed by the government. Okay. So if you don't pay that mortgage, then the government is left with the house. Now, the government, sometimes doesn't run very efficiently, and they have this house and they're doing nothing with it for 5, 10 years, just sitting there, and it goes to hell. And they say, oh, God, we got to get rid of this thing. And so they called it the Urban Homesteading Act because they're mostly in urban areas. And these houses, they give away for $1. And they also give grants for you to fix them up. Now, this is at the local office. So, in your county office, in their county, if you call your county government and you ask for the community development office, they're the best local office to know about real estate programs, Office of Community Development, because they're the ones that get HUD money and all this other stuff, for their housing stock. They're responsible for having houses for people. And this is going to grow in the next couple of years, because we're so short of houses. I don't hear anything about housing from Trump, but I know Harris has going to double the amount of houses. So that means a lot of government grants are giving out. I was just writing up one today. They're giving $75,000 grant for you to take an old house and flip it, fix it up, and sell it. And that's a grant for you to start in the real estate business. And this could be for people, for families, for nonprofits, for profits, almost anybody. It's for a grant to help us with our housing stock. So we got to take these old places that are down, you get $75,000 to fix them up and sell it. And you could be a landlord or just sell it and make money on the sale. And there's about 7 or 8 organizations in every state that specializes in helping people without money get homes. One is HUD.gov. So you want to go there, HUD.gov/counseling. And if you go to that website, HUD.gov/counseling, you'll see a map of the United States. You click on your state, and there'll be counselors in your area that are all free. They not only help with you finding a house, they help with you in your debt or your credit, all this stuff free. Don't go and Google this, because you're going to find people going to charge you for that you get for free, or going to scam you somehow or other. I mean, one of the biggest problems that consumers have is getting ripped off by people going to fix up your credit when you could get that all done for free. So that's just one of many programs. Every program is different. You have to work local. It's not Washington. Some of them start in Washington, but then they wind up local, and the money is local for you to apply local.
We'll talk about also how you help people, or the programs that could help people pay off medical bills.
Okay, everybody, it's Michael E. Cullen II.
And I'm Sesame and Carta from the All Too Real 2 podcast. We're passionate about movies, TV, and pretty much all things pop culture.
Dive into the chaos of failed sitcoms, direct-to-video sequels, and the quirky realms of cinema and TV.
Join us every Thursday for your dose of All Too Real 2 entertainment.
We'll guide you through debates like whether Howard the Duck qualifies as a superhero.
Ponder if Larry the Cable Guy could be the new Rock or Schwarzenegger.
Discover if some shows and movies should have stayed in the cutting room.
Ever heard of a sitcom featuring that dictator with the funny mustache? Well, we watched it.
We're dedicated to unraveling the peculiarities of pop culture, sometimes with awesome guests.
So, if you're into the eccentric world of pop culture,
listen and subscribe to All Too Real 2.
Available wherever you find podcasts
and on Age of Radio.
Well, there's lots. The best place to go if you have medical bills is Needy. Go to this website. So every website I give you will never charge you money. So you're in the wrong place. If the website you copy down charges you money. So you're going to go to Needy, Needy, and then meds, MEDS.org. There's that word again. So needymeds.org. Okay, there you find a great collection of all the free and low-cost health services that are available. Okay, because there's so much. I mean, I just saw this the other day. About 20% of the people under 65 that don't have coverage are eligible for free healthcare. They just don't know. They're not applying for it. So this is a great place to start for everything from free prescription drugs. There's lots of programs for that, and this website will help you with that. Pay hospital bills. If you go to the hospital by even like an emergency or not emergency, and they send you a bill, well, 70% of those bills don't have to be paid, but the hospital doesn't tell you. See, they have to pay you, not collect money from you, but they don't tell you that. And that's a pity. So organizations like that will do it. Actually, in that website too, they're nonprofit organizations that will contact your medical provider or even have grants to go do your co-pays or down payments and stuff like that you're doing. There is so much help. But it takes your effort. You have to get on the phone. You can't just go look and match it up. No, you have to talk to people because it's hard to understand what they're saying. I don't. I've been studying. But if you talk to people, then that's good. You just say, "I need help. I have this medical bill." That's all you have. You don't have to know what the hell you're doing because that's why they're there, to help you when you don't know what you're doing. And they all got paid. You never have to pay them. And you never have to be ashamed of calling because that's their job. But people don't know that.
Well, tell us about how business, somebody who wants to start a business, tell them how they can get grants, like $100,000 to start a business.
You bet. Or even more or less or more. See, and that's a thing for business. The trap is that people go looking for money to start a business, and you shouldn't do that. You look for help to start a business. The best way the government is set up is to help you start a business. They help you find money too. But if you're asking for money, you'll go to organizations and they say they don't have money because they don't. Okay. But they have money. What they have is mentoring to help you find the money or whatever you need. They also sit down with you to make sure your idea is worth the money or what you have to do to change it. So they help you think through your idea, whatever the idea is. You want to be a real estate investor. You want to be, a freelancer. You have an invention you want to do. No, they'll sit down with you for free and help you the best way. If you look for Google for help, they're going to charge you thousands and thousands of dollars to do the same thing that the government offices will do for free. And to do that, you go to sba.gov/ then local, LOCAL, dash assistance. Okay, sba.gov/local, LOCAL, then dash assistance. And you put in your zip code again, like we did in Find Help. And you'll find, like for me, there are 20 nonprofit organizations in my zip code that help entrepreneurs or freelancers or inventors or nonprofits, anybody who wants to start or grow a business. Now, the government does this because if they help you start or grow a business, you're going to create jobs. Okay, so that's why it's an investment by the community into you that will create a job for you or a job or many jobs for other people or whatever. This is how politicians get reelected if people are working. Right? So that's why they give money to help people start businesses or do what they want.
Okay, well, tell us about that successful infomercial that you created.
Well, that was fun. Creative, the dollar wise was the biggest thing. I've probably done, but it anything that's glamorous is not very soulful. And your motivation is more for the glamour, it seems, than the real help for that. I mean, I think I was told one of the 5 best infomercials in the country, and I don't even know who. Another infomercial guy wrote this article about the best infomercials. Mine was one of them. And the ones that worked, I went and got experts to do all this and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in doing. There wasn't. When I got rid of all the experts and just did it myself, they're the ones that were successful. But it's learning, and that's why, to me, to do anything in life, you have to want to be there. If you're there for the wrong reason, it's harder to succeed because everything you do is going to fail. You don't plan for success. You hope for success, but you can't plan for success because 9 times out of 100, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be failure. I mean, like I've written 100 books and only 10 have made money at all. So if you don't have that mindset, you're going to quit before you figure it out. And my mind was, look at all these stupid people making all this money. They don't seem very bright to me. And no, but they have perseverance to figure it out. And that's what most of us like or lack, because we go to a guru and say, all you have to do is these 5 things and you'll be a millionaire. And we do them and they don't work. And then we think we're dumb. No, you're not dumb. You're dumb if you stop. And it's hard to keep going if you don't have the right mindset. And the mindset is, this has to be important for you. If it's not important for you and you just a way to make money, well, I can't make money there, you lined out. No. You go try something else that won't make money. Then you try something else that won't make money. You got to figure out, because it all works different for different people. We're all different. We're all different animals. We're all different flowers. What one person does and is successful probably won't work for you, but maybe bits and pieces of that will be important for you. You got to go out and build your own, whatever it is, piece of art. Our life is a piece of art we have to paint it and develop it ourselves. And because once you start putting something on the canvas, that changes your mind, because then you didn't know, oh, I see that. Well, what about, I should have been doing that. I mean, most of my successful businesses became successful in different ways I thought they initially be successful at. But I got it in there, started trying it, and all that shit worked. But that gave me the information, the feedback I needed to figure out what exactly I should be doing. And that's what success is. Picking your ass up. Pardon me?
Tell us about any upcoming projects that you're working on that the listeners need to be aware
of. Well, it's this community, LeskoHelp.com. I mean, I'm focused on that because it's people helping people. So we have thousands of people helping each other. I see, when I started this too, I had no idea it would be like this. I just needed to get this information out, and people weren't buying books anymore. So I had to do something, and this is very fruitful. And I trying to make this better and trying to make it easier and educate people. And like talking to you, as I explain something, it comes into my mind about, oh yeah, that's true. So it's time and thoughtfulness, that makes things special. And now what I work on too is my heart. When I was a younger man, I wanted to get stronger and faster and smarter and all that kind of stuff. Now at 81, I can't get smarter, faster, and smarter. All that is going downhill. But one thing I can grow is my heart. I could love harder. I may not be able to, get stronger, but my heart could love more. I may not be able to run faster, but my heart could get more. So that's what I do. And that's what, as a community, we're doing for each other, is how you could love more, because that's one thing we all have, and we all could grow that. And that's, I think, the most rewarding thing is giving, and giving is loving. And then when you're giving, I think is selfish, because when you're giving, it feels so good. People think I'm doing it for them. Yeah, I guess, but really, because it feels so good to me. So I'm very selfish.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, LeskoHelp.com. Please check it out. This is an important message. Share it with everybody, how they can get free government assistance, government grants for a lot of things that they might be looking for. Jump on your favorite podcast app, follow us, give us a review, share the show. If you have any guest or suggestion topics, Curtis Jackson 1978 at att.net is the place to send them. Thank you for listening and supporting the show. Matthew, thank you for all that you do to help us and educate us, and thank you for joining me.
My pleasure. It's nice to meet you, Curtis.
For more information on the Living the Dream podcast, visit www.djcurveball.com. Until next time, stay focused on living the dream.